You're listening to the audio production of Kind is the New Classy, The Power of Living Graciously, by Candace Cameron Bure. Published by Zondervan and read by me, the author. Introduction. The Real Secret of Classy Women. I sat on the floor in the dark, knees pulled to my chest, face in my hands, sobbing. The 2-by-3-foot closet of my dressing room at the View was the only place I could find to hide, work out my overwhelmed emotions, and pray to the Lord. I only hoped the closet door would muffle the sound of my guttural cry because I just couldn't keep it contained anymore. I was about to go live on national television after hearing the reports of the San Bernardino terrorist attack, after learning that 14 people had been shot and killed, and 22 others were seriously injured. The details were still coming in, and my cell phone kept ringing because Southern California schools had been put on lockdown, including the public middle and high schools my 3 kids attended. I felt so helpless, unable to protect my babies in Los Angeles from across the country and New York City. The heartbreak, disgust, and anger I was feeling had taken over any sense of composure. Moments before I crawled into my closet, I was in the bullpen getting details from the producers as the story unraveled, and I'd called my kids and finally reached Lev on his cell. The bullpen is what we call the open plan office area, where all the producers, writers, and their assistants work at their desks, making morning of show decisions, tracking the current news, and gathering research materials the co-hosts may need to prove their point. Just like the area where pitchers go to warm up during a game, this area is crowded, chaotic, and often tense before a live show. Are you okay? Do you feel safe? Tell me how you're feeling, I asked. After a brief chat, we hung up, and I called my husband Val, who had been filling me in on the school details. When he heard the questions I'd asked Lev, he got upset. Why would you play into the fear? Why didn't you reassure him everything is okay and they aren't in any danger? You're causing panic that was never there for them. I was speechless. How could my questions of concern to my children be overshadowed by Val's concern that I'd said the wrong things to them? My emotions got hot and heated, which isn't typical for me unless I'm on the brink of overload. I raised my voice in anger and I started crying uncontrollably. Despite my attempts to keep my cool and lower my voice, I'm sure everyone could hear me. That's when I did what I've seen my daughter do when she's upset and wants to be alone. I hung up the phone and hid in the tiny closet in my dressing room. Tears streamed down my face as I tried to calm myself and figure out how to pull it together enough to get through the live, 1-hour show that started in just 30 minutes. That's when I heard a knock on my dressing room door. I didn't want to talk to anyone, and I hadn't caught my breath enough to do so anyway, so I ignored it. But the knock persisted. I waited, hoping whoever it was would go away. They knocked again. I slowly opened the closet door and stood up, wiped the tears from my face, and took a deep breath. Maybe they'll leave, I thought. But louder and firmer, the knocking continued. So I opened the dressing room door, and there stood my co-host, Whoopi Goldberg. May I come in? She asked gently. Yes, I managed to whisper. She took a step into my dressing room and closed the door behind her. There she stood with open arms as she said, "Come here." She hugged me, like a mama bear hugs and protects her babies. I sobbed into her shoulder, knowing I was probably getting her crisp white shirt smeared with mascara. She didn't care about the shirt. She kept hugging me until I decided to let go. "You're going to be fine," she said. "I've got your back. I won't let you fall out there. It's going to be okay. Just speak from your heart today." That simple act of kindness was more valuable to me than any extravagant present. It was genuine kindness, pure and simple. Whoopi saw me in distress, and she offered compassion and protection, not because she owed it to me or because it would bring her personal gain, but simply as a selfless act. She put herself in my shoes and offered exactly what she would have wanted in that moment if our roles had been reversed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?